When you think about odd time signatures, prog is probably the first genre that comes to your mind, but there's been music in odd time signatures for centuries, from ancient Greece to Eastern European cultures, traditional Indian music, indigenous music of Asia and Africa, and Western classical music. As someone who has a classical guitar degree and is now more focused on prog, I want to look at some examples of odd time signatures in classical music. Now, there are way more examples than what I'm sharing here, so if you'd like a part 2 to this video, let me know. I might also do some similar videos on odd time signatures in jazz or pop or movie scores. Let me know if you'd be interested in some videos like that. If you'd like access to the sheet music for this lesson and all of my other lessons, you can join my Patreon or become a channel member here on YouTube. I'm also available for private lessons if you want a little more in-depth personal instruction. Links to all of that is in this video's description. First up is Mars, the Bringer of War by Gustav Holst. This is a piece many metal musicians cite as an influence. It has that dark, heavy sound. In fact, one of the first metal songs ever, Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath, is kind of a ripoff of the melody in this piece. Symphony X also uses parts of this piece in their epic The Divine Wings of Tragedy. This is in 5/4, and it's a pretty simple example of 5/4. It's divided as 3 quarter notes and 2 quarter notes. The 3 has a triplet followed by 2 quarter notes, and the 2 is 2 eighth notes followed by a quarter note. So all together. This 5/4 ostinato plays in the low strings, trumpets, timpani, and it provides a foundation for the soaring melodies on top. I think you can very clearly hear the influence this had on film composers like John Williams, as well as the metal musicians I talked about earlier. The first few minutes of this are all in 5/4 before it switches to 5/2. This is an example of rhythmic augmentation. It's the same 3/2 chord pattern, but now done as half notes instead of quarter notes, so half the speed. A really great way to keep the same rhythmic foundation, but get another variation out of it. Next is the beginning of Pictures at an Exhibition by Musorgsky. This was originally written for piano, but the version most people are familiar with is the orchestral arrangement by Ravel. But there's also a version by prog rock legends Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. Lead me from tortured dreams. These early prog rock bands loved using classical music as a direct influence. This is pretty straightforward. It's going between 5/4 and 6/4 with a simple melody, mostly using quarter notes. The 11-note pattern does add a lot of interest here, though. It keeps it from being too simple and predictable. I mentioned Eastern European music earlier as using odd time signatures. Traditional Bulgarian rhythms are probably the most obvious example of this, and there's quite a few good videos on these already on YouTube. But composer Bela Bartok wrote 6 piano pieces based on these Bulgarian rhythms as part of his larger microcosmos for piano. All 6 of these are worth looking at as great examples of odd time signatures in classical music, but I want to look specifically at number 5. This is in 9/8 divided as 2/2/2/3 as eighth notes. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. This is a rhythm used in traditional Bulgarian dances, and it's also one you find in prog quite often. It has a really nice energetic quality to it. Feels like 4/4 with an extended last beat. Another piano piece to look at for odd time signatures is the third movement of Prokofiev's Piano Sonata No. 7. This one is pretty wild because of how fast it is. It's using a 7/8 rhythm divided as 2-3-2. 1-2, 1-2-3, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2-3, 1-2. I've talked a lot about 7/8 in the past on this channel, but usually it's divided as 2-2-3 or 3-2-2, but this is a much less common subdivision of 7/8. Honestly, this is pretty hard to latch onto when just listening to it casually. The frenetic nature of this piece and the speed of it obscure this rhythm quite a bit, but it's this 7/8 rhythm that helps to give this piece that frenetic sound. In classical music, there's a much looser rhythmic feel, especially compared to modern music where everything is on a grid, and there's no drummer pounding out these rhythms underneath. It can make feeling odd time signatures tricky when listening to them in this context. One last example for this video, and this one is a classic. This is the Rite of Spring by Stravinsky, and this is the last section of the piece called the Sacrificial Dance. Stravinsky might be the composer with the most examples of odd time signatures in his music. He uses them all over the place. This section is a pretty extreme example of mixed meter or multiple meters or time signatures mixed together. The time signatures here are as follows: 5-3-4, 5-3-4, 3-3-5, 4-3-4, 5-5, 4-3-4, 3-5-4, 2-4, 3-5-4, 5-3-4. Now, this is complex and there's no exact repetition here, but there are some smaller patterns I'm looking at. Most of these are 3 measures long, so the 5-3-4 is the first example, and that one looks like this. So you have the bass notes played in the double bass and timpani with chord stabs from the rest of the orchestra in between. This 3-bar pattern ends with this 3/16th note descending line, and that's what I'm using to see where each of these smaller patterns are starting and ending. And in the sheet music, these smaller sections are notated as well. With something this complex, it's best to break it down into smaller, more manageable chunks. There are a lot of other mixed meter sections in the Rite of Spring as well, but we'll have to save those for another video. So there are some examples of odd time signatures in classical music. As I mentioned, this is just scratching the surface here, so let me know if you'd like a part 2 to this video. And if you enjoyed this lesson, subscribe, hit the bell notification, like, comment, share, and I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, stay proggy.